Can you tell a bit about yourself? Because I know you, those people who are watching don't know you, so
Right. Okay. I am Adam. I am from originally Czechia. I grew up there until I was about 10. Um, and then I moved to the US, specifically Boston, at like around fifth grade, and I've lived here ever since.
okay. And what are you doing right now with your life?
Sorry?
What are you doing right now with your life?
Right now I'm at NYU, um, in the liberal studies college. Um,
Nice.
I'm sitting on my bed.
That's
Drink,
exciting, isn't it?
yeah, basically.
First place.
Where you cut out.
No, my AirPods just disconnected.
Oh,
Okay, we'll figure it out. Um, does this work? Right?
I heard about half of it, but
Okay, it should be better now. This one just died. Anyhow, I was saying, can you tell why did you decide to move to the United States?
um, so my mom, she was originally born in the United States, so we had I by kind of through my mom, I have American citizenship, and I think both my parents kind of wanted to look for like a different perspective on the world, or I think so. Czech is like very small, right? It has only about 10 million people in total, um, and so we don't really get much of like a world perspective. Um, it's very small-minded. Even in like the large city like Prague, there's not that much really of the outside world that you can see. And I think my parents just wanted us to experience America and kind of like the center of the world, you know?
Center of
Yeah.
the world. Oh my God, big words. Okay, you moved when you were 10. I always said that you moved when you were 11, but it doesn't matter. Close enough. Okay, yeah. So you moved to America. You have new school. You have new education system. Did you speak English back then?
I so my dad, back in the Czech Republic, he was an English teacher, so I kind of had like a little bit of a background. Like I would know like basic phrases, stuff like that. But honestly, I only picked up English like within the first like year of living here, I think, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then it took a few more years to really get the hang of it and kind of get used to like American mannerisms and um, their kind of like I think we talked about this like small talk that took
Yes. Oh
a
yeah,
long
we
time
did. Small
to
talk.
figure
Oh.
out. It's like easy to speak in English, but it's not easy to necessarily always know the right reply or the right thing to say in English.
That's like a question for me. Okay, so I'm here, right? And sometimes I just crave speaking Russian. I will listen to Russian music because I need to hear some Russian. Does it ever get better? When does it get better? Is there a point when you're like don't crave communication like in your native language?
I have reached a point where I'm almost forgetting, or like I'm not forgetting how to speak Czech, but the way I think about it is almost I have like two different sides of my brain. There's the Czech part and there's the English part.
Yeah.
Um, and more what happens is just like all my thoughts, um, and like, yeah, all my thoughts, all my words, they're all in English. Um, and less like do I have to like really use Czech overall. So
Mhm.
I think like in the beginning I really used to miss Czech. Like I think around the second and third year, all I wanted to do was like go back because I felt like out of place because like I couldn't really understand people that much. Um, like or at least like understand like them on a deeper level, kind of. Um, but I don't know. Over time, like it kind of got easier. It got a lot easier, I think.
Mm-hmm.
the longer I was here.
Just like this comment, like, why is this on my feed? I don't know, dude. I don't know why it's in your feed. Maybe because you follow Adam. Okay, that's kind of like promising. Do you speak Czech in your family or do you speak English?
I speak with my family in Czech. That's kind of like
Okay.
the rule we've established. Um, that in order for me and my little sister to like keep up um, our language skills. And I think it works, you know. I do tend to kind of, if I get like, like if I want to say something very fast, what will happen is I will basically, um, without even noticing, I will start like mixing Czech words and English words into like one sentence, and then just like basically to anybody outside, it would make no sense, but like everybody in the family, like if we're having a passionate debate, I guess, we're gonna like be, you know, shooting back and forth in Czech English, and like it will make sense, kind of. But like I try to focus very much on speaking the right way, like
Yeah.
focusing on Czech words, stuff like that. Yeah.
See, I create words in Russian without even speaking English that fluently. So I can only wonder what's happening in your brain.
A
Okay,
lot
so
of
you, hmm?
like a lot of the time, like when I'm speaking in Czech, I'll just take an English word and then make it Czech, basically. Which like most of those words, they will like sound like extremely antiquated, so they'll be
Mhm.
like the way they would speak like 100 years ago, and like I think it just like it makes sense, but then it's like my mom always says like it's like you're speaking like it's in the dictionary, but nobody would ever say it the way you speak. So
At least it sounds educated. As long as this words exist, that's good, I
yeah.
guess. Kind of. Okay, so you moved when you were 11.
Mm,
How was transitioning from school to school? Is like educational system different around here compared to
mm,
Czech? I mean, you were pretty young, but if you
yeah,
remember stuff.
but I do remember. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was a big difference in the shift of like how we were taught. I think
Mhm.
back in the Czech Republic, it was a lot more about repetition. It was a lot more like these are the things that you will learn and you will repeat them over and over until you know them. While here, it was a lot more focused on kind of creativity, or like you do, like you have like set guidelines, but what you do within those guidelines is up to you. Which I think is both can be positive, but also like it requires a lot more brain work and a lot more time kind of to get
That
like
is positive.
yeah,
You're like at the same time, well, that is good that it requires brain work.
yeah, yeah. And also know within Czech there's like if you want to get into college you basically have to pass a bunch of like these tests. It's like kind of I think you guys have a similar thing in Russia. Like
Yeah, I think
there's
so.
like one test that you take at the end of like high school, and if you don't pass it or like if you don't do well, then you can't really get into like good colleges.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's like a big differences, I would say. Um, yeah. Also, like in the beginning, the first year that I was here, I was like specifically in an English learning program. So I would, how do you say? I would basically like all my classes were just focused on like learning English. Like even my science classes, it was all about kind of um, understanding more and more of like how to grasp the English language, and then I would transition into the normal school system, and there it was like a lot more difficult because suddenly the focus was on English. It was like the subjects themselves. So I still don't really have a complete grasp of like you know like the meaning of like what is constant and variable and stuff like that. Like things that like I think like everybody who studies English like from an outside place would know, but I just like kind of never like got into America and like learning it at a time where the younger kids would already know it, or like they would be learning it and the older kids would already know it kind of. and I just kind of like had to figure that stuff out on my own. Yeah.
I just like that comment, like New York City sounds. Okay, he's like, it's an NYU thing. The shows why NYU and its people are awesome. It wasn't about NYU, right? It was about like school times.
Wait, what was the comment?
That is an NYU thing. And this shows why NYU and its people are awesome.
Thanks, Will. I think it was like, yeah, no, it was about American schools in general, I suppose. But yeah, I think also like NYU does, like, so far, it's even more so like about doing the things that you like, kind of, instead of the things other people tell you to do, which I really do appreciate, even though it makes it like a lot harder to like write an essay when the only prompt is just write something about this, you know, and then like you don't
Write
have
about pearls.
yeah.
This
Yeah,
is my
write about
favorite
stuff. Like,
one.
what exactly do you write? Like, what is it that the teacher's looking for in an interesting essay? And also the thing is, like, so with the fact that everything in America is a lot more up to you, that also means that a lot of the teachers, their perspectives on these things will be subjective, right? So some teachers might love what you do and some teachers might hate it, and you kind of have to figure out which teacher will like what. And that kind of can be like a bit of a struggle.
I find it really confusing because in Russia you cannot, well, you don't choose subjects even when you go to university. So it's like, you know, your major, and according to your major, the class is assigned. But also, like, you cannot choose the professors, I guess. And here, remember, you have like a bunch of professors. You gotta like go for rate my professor. Like choose the one that you like, even though without like knowing the person.
Yeah, yeah.
That's too
So
much of a
like
choice in
then
this
you just
country.
have to look up like, I mean, finding a professor is basically all about like going on all different websites and trying to find the name of the teacher and then see their like reviews and stuff like that, and see like if, you know, like if you want a professor who's like a bit harder but like their class is more interesting, if you just want an easy class that's kind of going to be boring, like that's just like kind of what you have to decide, like how much does this subject matter to you and how much time do you want to spend on it, kind of. um,
Yeah,
so
but it's still like really flexible, and the good thing about it, like even if you don't like the professor, you have like another 2 weeks to drop the class and change the class.
yeah, yeah, it is very flexible. um
Do you think it's just NYU, or do you think like if a college would be smaller,
mhm.
let's say in still pretty like democratic states, would it also be that much of a choice and everything?
That I'm not sure about. I think, I mean, with a smaller college, you have less professors, right?
Hmm.
Smaller staff, so the choices might be smaller, but I would also assume that with like a college that is smaller, the teachers are overall a bit more like handpicked, as in like they're more, like with a college of 2,000 students, kind of like the teachers will have to all kind of be more of a collective so that you don't get, you know, like I think with like a college like NYU where you have, I think, over 3,000 like teachers and a lot more like teachers assistants and stuff like
Are
that
there that
there.
many teachers?
Yeah. You might just get like a, like there's a massive, you know, variation on like quality of the teacher and their like learning, like teaching skills, stuff like that. um while I would say with like a smaller college you'd probably have teachers that are had been a lot more like kind of vetted through the process, and like the college knows that they know what they're talking about and they know like that what they teach is like gonna be helpful. So
Hmm.
yeah.
What I wanted to ask is that do you still keep in touch with people from Czech Republic? Like, do you
uh,
still have friends from back then?
I actually do. I like, I wouldn't say it's constant communication, because it has been 10 years, you know, but like sometimes I just randomly get like hit up on Facebook or like Instagram about like people I used to know. Then we'll have like a super like nice conversation. But it is kind of strange because like it has been so long that like I basically have no idea who they have become as people, and so I just kind of have to assume like, oh, like do I talk to them in the manner that like I used to talk to them, or do I just kind of show that like I am a different person? And I don't even remember like the things we used to do, so I can't remember how they see me exactly. So it's a bit strange, but I do have like a contact with a few people. Um, Not that many though. I think I only have like two people in contact from like my old school, and then a few people from like my old taekwondo club. But yeah, those were like actually like those I have like a bit of a deeper connection with, just because I don't know, I saw them more recently because I used to go like back to Czechia every summer, um, and like go to the camp, and then like I'd talk to people there. Yeah.
When was the last time you went there?
Hmm. It's been 4 going on 5 years, which is like not good. I really wanted to try to go back this summer, um,
Mm,
but I didn't get to because of the world.
passport. Because somebody doesn't have a Czech passport anymore, right, Adam?
Actually, funny story. Tomorrow my family's coming up, and we're trying to figure out like to renew our passports, like the Czech passport.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
something.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Speaking about people, okay, this question is going to be like tricky. But what are some differences in sort of like culture and mentality, as much as I try to avoid this word, are there in people like in Czech Republic and here?
Okay, the differences.
We
Hmm.
already mentioned like small talk,
Yeah.
because
So
yeah.
it's not so much. There is a difference in mentality, I would say. Um, I was thinking about this the other day. I feel like Czech people and a lot of European people, possibly, but I don't have like necessarily the best perspective on other European countries. But I kind of feel like they always like feel like there is something bigger out there, better than their country, right? They always have this sense of like we're small fish in a big ocean. While I think like Americans, like no matter how much they dislike this country and stuff like that, they have this perspective. Like in the end, like yes, though it sucks, we are the country that you want to be in. Like everybody who comes here, like they want to be here, like they ran away, whatever, from their other country because it's less good, and because they want to be here, right?
So they have more
Uh,
pride.
there's a very strong sense of like patriotism, even within people that like don't that say that they don't like this country. Like you can still tell there's a like a very big difference in their mentality and a person from like Czechia who actually dislikes that country, you know? Because the thing is, like, if you dislike America, there's not many other places you can really go that will like actually be better. In the end, like, it's always gonna be like the idea is gonna be like, oh, you're trading down, kind of, in a lot of aspects. Wow.
Well, maybe just our
Mm,
perspective because you're not from here. Just saying, it's just like
maybe, yeah, maybe that's just my perspective. Yeah.
because they're like thinking exactly the same thing. They're like, we think it's bad here for like good reasons. And people
Yeah.
coming from Europe think that it's better here for some stupid reasons. But I actually never met anyone who would say that here.
Yeah.
Most of the people I met, they would like never, no, it felt like they would never leave the country, but they never think about moving elsewhere. They're like, I can travel, like I want to travel, but I don't want to move anywhere.
That's a move. Yeah. Um. Also, like the fact is like another thing, right? Every American kind of expects that no matter where they go, people will know English and will be able to speak to them. While I think the opposite is true for like a lot of Europeans. Um, they
Mhm.
will have to adapt to America, not America adapt to them, kind of. And Americans go out and the world still adapts to them, you know? So
That's
there's
true.
a difference. In terms of like small differences, I would say like Czech people on the whole are like a lot meaner. They
You
can
think so?
like it's not necessarily like they have like a darker sense of humor, I'd say, and like it's just
Mm,
like it's more okay to like actively dislike a person than to show that you dislike that person. Um, you know, I think like stuff like bullying and stuff is like a lot more tolerated in schools just because it's not like, I don't know, that's just more a part of the culture. Here it's like um, people are like a lot nicer, but then you also have to kind of figure out the fact that like a lot of people will just be nice to you on the outside and they don't actually like you necessarily.
yeah, I
They'll
gotta agree with
tolerate you.
that.
They won't really. It, it it'll take some time before people actually start trusting you here, I think. Just because everybody here is so used to the idea that like 90% of the people you like are just like outwardly nice and they don't actually like you or want to be around you, then it actually takes like a while to build like actual deep connections with people. And that's why I think like while a lot of people might have like a large friend group, it's usually like they only have like really close like one or two people, you know. Um,
That's hard. Like, I don't know how you ever get. Okay, it's like my first month here, like, right? First full month. I think it's actually like somewhere around right now because I arrived on 17th of January. So, okay, it's exactly 4 weeks. I'll say that. And I just find it so confusing. And I didn't remember it from my last time here.
mhm.
So now having this, like, people are nice, but at the same time, it's so hard to connect with people. Is
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Okay, there is a question in the chat about like universities and dentist majors. That's out of topic, you guys. And then people are asking you to say something in Russian. You do know something in Russian, don't you?
Maybe like Dobrý den.
Yeah,
Like that.
close. But these are like in Czech.
That's like basically like the same thing you'd say in Czech, yeah. Um, the things I can say in Russian are just basically things that like are similar to Czech. I feel like I don't know. Bože můj, know that one.
That's the most useful one for sure.
Yep. Um, other ones. And what was the first question about like colleges and stuff?
Oh yeah, there was this random like question about, do you know anything about how to study to be a dentist in New York City? And if you have any friends in medical field. But I feel like
How
it's way too
to
specific.
wait? How to what?
How to study to be how Where to study to be a dentist in New York City for like
Dance?
university. Yeah. So never mind,
Um,
just saying it's such a random question.
Interesting. So I do. So back in Boston, one of my best friends, he goes to Tufts University, which I know has. I actually personally go to the for like my dental work. I go to the Tufts Dental School. Um,
Yeah.
and I know it's like a very famous program, but that is in Boston. Um, yeah. And he's actually he's studying pre-med. I personally was kind of thinking about taking pre-med, but I'm not really sure how much of a how much
But
of
you're
a
in
class.
liberal studies. See, you're in
Yeah,
liberal studies, and that's
yeah.
awesome. I mean, you
You
wouldn't
know
meet
that
me,
I
right, if not for liberal studies. So
what's up?
you wouldn't meet me if not for liberal studies. So see,
Exactly.
there are some advantages.
Exactly. Um, Also, I do know that NYU has, if you get into their medical program, that college is for free, which was one of the
Even for
main reasons.
international students?
I'm not sure. Um, it might be. I just know like that for some reason like NYU Medical School decided like if you because it is a very hard program to get into, so I think that they decided if you do get into it, um, you're gonna pay. But like that's the thing I don't know about if that's a thing for. I'm so
It's
sorry. I
fine.
don't.
Honestly, it's like a lot of information, and you did not come prepared to talk about this topic. So, oh, there is a good question. What stereotypes about Russians do you have? Did you
What's
have?
stereotypes
Do
about
you
Russians?
have?
Um,
You told me some, I remember.
yeah, I did tell you some. Okay, let's see. There's a lot of bears.
That's the
Some
basic.
people
Come
keep them
on.
as pets, and some people like actually wrestle them. Um, Obviously, Russian people like vodka. I mean, I enjoy vodka, so it's no judgment there. Um, let's see what else. Huh? It's very cold in Russia. Um, what else?
Okay, you told me some stereotypes. It's like how Czech people think about Russian tourists because there are a bunch of them.
Oh, that, yeah. Hmm. So there is this kind of view that like all the tourists that go to Czech, um, the Russian tourists, they're all like very rich people who are just kind of there to like buy up Czech properties and Czech oil and Czech like uranium and shit like that stuff. Um, and
I
then
feel like
they
Czech
like
people have like too high of opinion about Russians.
possibly, yeah. But like I do know like a lot of people like will always complain there's this town called like Karlovy Vary in Czech. It's like the
Karlovy Vary. Yeah, that's how we say it. I'm sorry.
really, yeah, no,
Karlovy Vary, yes.
mhm. And like the stereotype is that like all Russian people like go there because they like miss it from like the era when they like used to like be in control of Czech, and so now they go there to like
There's
vacation.
a I went there, but not because I miss it. Just because it's nice there. I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure I went there as well, so I just gotta, protect
Yeah.
my
And people will
position.
like, I feel like people will throw like, if like you speak Russian and Czech, they might throw you like dirty looks behind your back just because of like the past. But then
Does it
again,
matter that much?
does it matter that much? I don't think so. Like, not overall. As long as you're not actively talking about like communism and stuff, I think um, you're you're gonna be fine.
I'm so surprised communism comes up so often in our conversations. Like,
Yeah.
nope. Yeah, yeah, that's weird. Okay. People can write questions if they want, but there are no questions for now. But I have only my last question, which we kind of talked about yesterday. So what's better, to live in Europe or to live in the United States in like long term?
Long term. It depends on what you want to do. Um, America, I would say, is like more and more kind of, if you don't have big dreams and big goals, and you're not planning on making a lot of money, then you're gonna just kind of be in pain because there is like a lot of stuff that is for free in Europe that isn't for free here, like healthcare, public schools, stuff like that. Everything here is a lot more expensive, so you have to like budget out a lot more. Um, and like the system kind of is almost designed to like if you are on the poor end, then it's kind of designed to keep you that way because America needs its workers, right? The rich get richer while the poor get poorer, kind of system. So I think there is definitely like a potential here still to like succeed and to make it big. Um, if you go to a good university, if you take the right subjects, if you make the right connections, you can definitely, like there are so many opportunities here that like you wouldn't get anywhere else, kind of. Um, like the entire world, like kind of still has like America as kind of like one of its, considered like America's like its biggest ally, stuff like that. So you'll get to travel a lot if you do go to like a university here. Um, and long term, that is a question because like the thing is like I haven't really started my life yet, right? Outside of
Mm.
university, so I can't tell you how viable it is gonna be here for me, even with like a good college degree, stuff like that, to like actually make it. And it's definitely I think the saying goes, you know, Europeans work to live, Americans live to work. So your life is basically gonna be about work.
That's
If you want to live in Europe, I'd say your goals are gonna be, or like, you know, the things you do are gonna matter a lot less kind of on the global scale. If like you want to go in, like if you want to go big, then, you know, the things you do in like a country like Czech or Poland, stuff like that, it's not really gonna matter on the world stage. Um, but like also like your life might just be like a little bit more peaceful in the sense of like you won't have to constantly worry about genuinely like becoming homeless and becoming, you know, having to like deal with a lot of bureaucracy and stuff like that.
Can you just tell me about how does like healthcare work here? Can you like get insurance or something?
Yes, you can get insurance, but you have to pay for it. And kind of insurance tries its best firstly not to really pay for you. So it'll make a lot of clause and exceptions for like the things they will pay for and the things they won't pay for. And also like often like if you do like have to use their medical insurance a lot, then they will automatically like raise the price.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm still confused about that. Because
Yeah.
like in Russia, you just take it out of the taxes. And you have free healthcare,
Yeah, exactly. So
which is not the
here like
best
there's
quality, but still.
here like the Republican Party is like very much like a big advocate for um not raising the taxes and keeping it private healthcare, which personally at least I see a lot of problems with that kind of logic because overall like it is gonna cost more for the private individual kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah.
I see. Yeah. Do you miss anything about Czech Republic?
Do I what?
Do you miss anything about Czech Republic?
Hmm. I miss the
Hmm.
beauty of it. I miss like how the place looks. Um I don't know, I do miss like Prague. I miss the people kind of because um I don't know, sometimes I just get kind of this longing to just like for things to go back to the old world. To the old way. Um yeah. I miss my family because like almost all of my family's there. But I'd say in the end like I wouldn't move back, I don't think. Unless like there was like a very unless something like backfired, you know. Unless like it literally became I could no longer live here, then I wouldn't move back, I don't think. At least not that I'm planning on in the near future.
That's good to know. That's good to know. I had another question in mind, but I forgot that. It just happens. Um, oh yes, Boston. Boston is pretty European. Okay, we gotta like discuss it once and for all. Boston is
Mhm.
pretty European, is it not?
I'd say, I mean, relatively,
You lived there like what, 8 years?
yeah, yeah. Almost, well, 9, actually. 9, yeah. Um, I suppose it is kind of European, but like it's still like a very American place, you know? Um, it is a lot. It also depends on where you go. If you go into the suburbs, into like the richer parts, I'm sure there's kind of like this, like people I feel like are like a lot colder with each other, which I suppose is like an American, I mean, a European trait. Um, but it is still like very American in the sense of like you will experience like, you know, the things I talked about, like the people like they won't approach you, but like if you do talk to them, they'll still be like Americans in the sense of like they'll be nice, stuff like that. Yeah.
Mhm. But they have pretty big European community overall. And it looks here, like the vibe is European. If you're saying like something about the beauty of like Prague and everything, Boston is pretty European from how it looks like.
Mm.
At least
I
for
think
me, that's the
also
impression I
this might
got.
be a personal thing, but like I think like Boston is like kind of like not a pretty city. I don't like
Oh,
how it
right,
looks.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, see, the first question there was about the Americans harass you with questions about the Czech porn industry. Is this like a huge stereotype? Is it supposed to be a stereotype? I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
anything
Like
about it.
sometimes I'll get like kind of not the smartest people like talk about that. Um,
I do remember one
like
of
but like
those
it's
things.
usually it's like friends, and it's like they'll like oh like 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 try to mess with me. They'll be like oh like porn, but I don't know. No, it's not like a active issue. I don't think in my life.
What are some stereotypes that you encountered about your, how do you call it? Your nationality? I'm so bad with all these words. It's
Nationality.
nationality, yeah. So when you say I'm from Czech Republic, do any
I mean, most
stereotypes
often,
ever come up?
yeah. The most often thing is like instead of Czech Republic, they'll say Czechoslovakia, which that country has not existed for over 30 years, so that's kind of strange. Um, and I think a lot of like like a lot of people will like mention my accent, stuff like that. They'll try to like pin where I'm from. Then they're like, oh, like Prague, like, and then they'll say something in like very butchered Czech to like try to be cool, and then like I'll just be like, oh, cool.
It's like our professor, right? No,
Yeah,
he's
yeah, it's
trying.
basically that. Like a lot of Americans like will like try to be act cultured, but like it's just like it's like I don't really. It doesn't make me like think you're cool. It makes me think the opposite. Actually, it makes me think you're trying too hard. But anyway,
I
yeah.
have a question. Okay, so maybe all of this is stereotypes, but
Hmm.
there's so many videos and memes about Americans being terrible at geography. Like they know the United States, right? Then they
Yeah,
know where Canada is. And like when it comes to Europe, it is
I'd
true
say
or
so.
not?
It depends. I'd say like if you like surround yourself with like the right people, like people will be generally like they'll have better grasp of geography. But still, like yeah, they're like very far removed from everything. Like for example, I don't know, like maybe Australians have the same thing, just because they're so far removed from everything else. So like they'll like Americans will generally know like where like I'd say like places like Brazil and Mexico and like kind of like they'll be like more focused on like the this kind of how do you say latitude? Yeah, this like latitude of the world rather than like the European one. So like yeah, they won't necessarily know where like Hungary is or I don't know. But I wouldn't say like also like I don't actively talk about geography with a lot of people, so um I don't like try to actively quiz them on where like Latvia is or whatever.
I also feel like with all these memes, when I think about my knowledge of Europe, like I also suck.
Yeah,
So
honestly, like I'm not the best either. Like um but yeah. It also depends on like what school system you end up in, like and how much you actually care about the outside world. So I'd say like a lot of NYU students will probably like are pretty good with geography, you know, just because of like
from what I heard, they're pretty good with geography and also like history and somehow history of Russia. I'm still confused about that. Like,
hmm
why am I behind of the history of my own country? Gotta read up on that. There was a good question. Do
hmm
you think something like, do you think that Americans are self-centered? But they're just like more goal-oriented, right? In general, I guess.
uh
Or not. Okay,
it,
I'm just like not here to say anything. I've been here for a month, so I'm just
um I mean that just depends on the individual, honestly. Like I said like before, like I think like a lot of Americans like do have like the very like kind of like almost like subconscious like bias towards like America in the terms of like they see it as like it is like the place that everybody wants to go to. But like I don't think that actually shows that much. I think like like there's stereotypes about like West Coast, like California, like oh those people are like all completely fake and all they care about is only themselves. But I don't believe that. I believe that no matter where you go, there's going to be people that only care about themselves and their country and or like their issues, and then there's going to be people who are like who care about other people, and it's just like about how you're like who you are rather than like where you're from. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Can you comment on how there are so many students from post-Soviet countries going to Czech? Does that annoy you? I recently had a live session with a Russian girl who studies in Czech Republic. And, like from
Mhm.
what I know, there are a lot of people who go to Czech Republic, and so like because it's one of the easiest. Okay, somehow, even though you still have to take like almost a gap year to learn a language if you don't know it. But like for some reason there is I think because you can get in for free, but it's also true for any European country, but in Russian there is
Mhm.
this thing that a lot of people young people want to go to Czech Republic for education that they choose like from Europe because this is the easiest country to sort of like get into university
Mm.
if you're Russian. So yeah, but you said okay, so you said that if you speak Russian in Czech Republic, people might
If you
not
look
think
like a
that's bad.
tourist, if you look like a tourist and you speak but like I don't know. I mean, like personally, it doesn't annoy me at all because I'm an immigrant living in a different country, and I genuinely believe that like the way for the world to move forward is by like people going to different countries and learning different cultures and seeing like what the world has to offer rather than living in their own little bubble, you know? So for me, it's not annoying at all. Honestly, I think it should be more. I think like a lot of Czech people should like lose their kind of like, unreasonable pride in what their country is and instead like focus on like things like, being more welcoming to strangers and like making and learning from them and interacting with them. But that's just from my perspective because that's what I believe in, kind of. That, yeah.
Is Czech Republic a really like religious country? Like, well, let's
I wouldn't
compare. Like, I think
actually.
Poland is like really religious in Europe, right? Let's say. What about like
I
Czech Republic?
I think Czech is actually like listed as one of the lowest like um rel least religious places in like Europe. And I think like a large part of that was like the Communist Party kind of very much like not encouraging religion.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. I like religion is like has never really been a big part of my life, and nor of almost anybody that I know in Czech. Actually, like literally anybody that I know in Czech. Nobody that I know in Czech has like actively like been like would talk about religion or like religious ideals like at all. Um, yeah.
This comment just killed me. Wait, is Czech a communist country? Kind of want to go there now.
Who said that?
I'm pretty sure that it's a Russian person who's really
Oh.
active on like asking questions, so it's nice. But
Mhm.
okay, can you tell like okay, so we talked about communism a lot. So what is a communist country and when was that?
I mean, so.
Oh, you're Kazakh. I'm sorry, she's from Kazakhstan.
Oh, I see. Um, uh, it's
Mm, This,
not a communist country, or like it used to
mhm.
be, like in the from like the 40s, like late 40s until like literally like 89, I think. And that's kind of like when the Berlin Wall fell, stuff like that, and like the whole of like Eastern Europe kind of stopped being like communist. So no, it's not communist, but it has like a lot of like, European socialist values. which I think are actually like extremely positive. Um, yeah, but it's not a communist country. And I think also like that's the thing, like a lot of people will like exchange like what is like the ideals of communism with like the actual effectiveness. So when I say communist, I don't mean in the sense of like it that it followed like the ideals of, you know, Karl Marx, but more so like the implementation that was kind of authoritarian and like, you know, didn't improve on a lot of people's lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is because there is this like bad history. My English is getting worse with every single minute around here.
Mm-hmm.
Is it about the history? You're saying like there's a history between Russians and Czech people. Is it communism related history? And that's why you're kind of like not their favorite ones, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think,
Anyhow, yeah.
but it's an unfair. I don't know. I don't think like people. I mean, like people will still like stereotype Germans as being Nazis and shit like that,
Hmm.
stuff like that. Do you want me to censor myself, or is it like fine if I swear?
It is fine if you swear, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like they'll still stereotype, you know, Germans for being Nazis, but like that's just like people will always do that. I don't know, and I don't
Hmm.
think it's right, you know, personally.
I feel like also in Russia there is still a lot of like propaganda sometimes against German people based on like history, which is
Yeah.
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 When my German friend was visiting me and he's German, you should have seen the initial reaction of my grandparents. Honestly, I did not see that one coming. I was like, "Oops,
Uh,
okay." Yeah, that wasn't expected, but it got better.
yeah.
Okay, why did he go all the way to the USA for university? Well, he did not go there for university. He moved there when he was 10. So technically, right? And because you have two passports, you don't have to worry about stuff. Okay, but I'll get there one day. Is
Mhm.
American healthcare as bad as they say it is?
It's not bad. Um,
It's expensive. Okay,
it's
yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah. Like I mean, in terms of like the healthcare, like America has probably the best healthcare you can get in the world. You know, it's just like
Do they?
if you want the best healthcare, then you're gonna have to pay the most money. And so you can get, and also like you'll get like horrible healthcare if you don't have a lot of money. Or like barely any at all. There have been like cases where like people in like, you know, who were dying were literally like turned away from the hospitals because they didn't have insurance and they couldn't pay. So it's a double-edged sword, you know. Like for like the rich people, like yes, they'll, you know, they will probably live on until like 105, just like from like if they like treat themselves right, just because of like the fact that like they will get the best care in the world. You know, like Trump, you know, he's like 76 and he got COVID, but like they like literally like he went into the best hospital in the US and like they gave him the best like most cutting edge drugs that cost
Mm.
I don't know how much, like a pill, stuff like that. And he survived, you know, like with barely probably any side effects that we can see. So I don't know. It like the world like America is like kind of yeah. If you have the means then like America will provide. But for a
Well,
cost.
there was some gossip that actually Trump was feeling much worse than they were saying when he had COVID.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah, but
he did
but we
it.
don't know, you know, like we don't know.
Yeah, but he's out of the office, so that's what matters.
Yeah.
Somebody asked about your favorite music. They were like, "I'm so sorry, it's so informal, but what is his favorite music?" I'm not sure if they're hitting on you or like, or they're wondering if you were. Do you ever listen to Czech music?
I listen to some Czech music, yeah, but it's not my favorite type of music. I mostly like I will listen to like basically anything. Um, I'd say my favorite types are like alternative and R&B and like hip hop, kind of like something that has like beats and like sometimes singing, stuff like that, and then raps. Yeah, I say like my favorite band of all time is like Gorillaz. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. That's like
I'm
one of
sure people heard of it.
my.
Even I
Yeah.
somehow heard of it, even though I don't listen to music that much.
Hmm. Yeah. That's like, but like I will basically listen to anything if I think it's good. So like also I'll listen to rock, I'll listen to pop, I'll listen to even country sometimes. I think the type of music that I listen to the least is like metal, but like if I find something that I genuinely think is like good, then I'll listen to it. Also electronic. I like electronic music. So I'll just like I like everything if it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's me, honestly. That's the whole mood. I really, there are so many questions. Like, people are just working on creating these questions out there. At some point, the literal texted, like, am I gonna be the only one asking questions here? And people started like texting more questions. I'm like, we like it. We like the initiative. I really like the question about the US news channels. Like,
Hmm.
there was something like really. Tell me if you should trust US news channels. And I feel like it's pretty, how to say, harsh to say it that way. But like, can you say what news sources would you call liberal and what news sources would you call conservative?
Yeah, like Fox News is obviously conservative. Breitbart. Um, those are like the conservative news channels, and then like the liberal channels, I suppose, would be like CNN and Wall Street Journal, stuff like that. And then I think like BBC is kind of unbiased, although they are overall, like I suppose more liberal, but like I just think they kind of speak facts, instead of like
Hmm.
I don't know. I really dislike the well. Okay, so personally, I identify as like liberal, democratic, um, and so I like have a very personally. I suppose I would have a bias towards like I don't even want to say like that one news source is liberal and the other one's Republican. I want to say that one is right and the other one's wrong.
Yeah,
Kind of.
I feel that, yeah.
Um. Um. So yeah, but I guess like I can be a biased person. Um.
Aren't we all, honestly? It's like we all are. It's
Yeah.
in the nature. If you believe in something, you look at a lot of stuff from that perspective.
Yeah.
So that's why we gotta like try to stay critical, no matter where we stand on the
Yeah.
issue and
Yeah.
like analyze stuff. Oh my God,
I can.
that is really hard though.
Yeah. No, I can like look at like articles or like the things that CNN says and then just be like they're obviously kind of I don't know. I wouldn't like I don't even follow CNN that much. I think the best ones are like I don't know, BBC, which I think I saw a comment. Yeah, BBC is British, but they also have like American um there's like BBC America, which like they cover a lot of American news. Um and personally that like I think is like one of my favorite ones. And then like I also like I think shoot, I can't remember. There's just one other news source that I follow that I like, but I can't remember the name of right now. But it's like pretty good.
Have you heard about Vox?
But
Not
what?
Fox, but Vox. Like VO.
Oh,
Like,
Vox. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've heard of them.
yeah.
Um,
I think they're pretty good.
yeah, they're good. I feel like those stuff that I've seen from them is not so much political as more like about like I don't know slice of life or like kind of perspectives on um like underground culture stuff like that, which I really like their coverage. Um, Also like news channels like Vice stuff like that. Yeah.
I just love this girl, or I think it's a girl, or maybe it's a boy. This person will correct me. But it's just like, she's just like leading the way. With like where this thing is going. She's like, I have this question, and this questions. I'd be like, God. from the original topic, but it's fine. I mean, as long as you have time. Do you have time?
Yeah. Uh, Today, like everything is closed, so I'm probably not gonna leave my room. So.
That's sad. You gotta do homework for tomorrow class, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A lot of
Yeah,
homework.
so you'll have fun. But anyhow, U.S. universities, is it worth it after all? Is higher education worth it? I'm not sure. Is higher education worth it? In the United States, is like having a diploma really important?
I'd
Because you
say
know,
so.
like
Yeah.
in Russia, it's pretty like crucial.
Yeah.
In order
I
to
think
work, you gotta
here it's like
graduate.
here I wouldn't even say like a lot of people will say like even a bachelor's doesn't mean anything. Like you need a master's or a PhD to like really make it anywhere to like be taken seriously.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, but it also because there is so many universities, so that could also be like, like if you went to like a school with like lower name recognition, then like a diploma from that school won't matter as much. Um,
I feel
yeah.
like United States, like all the universities here, they're
Mhm.
businesses, and this is so weird to me. Like when I say in Russia, I go to private university, people start thinking weird stuff.
Mm.
Like this is some cool kind of school, not the normal one. But I'm like, guys, I could not possibly go into like public universities, international school because like no. I
Mhm.
mean, okay, if I in my case because I don't need financial aid, I could, but like public university in the United States never give financial aid to international students, and then
Yeah.
most of the universities still private ones.
Mm.
But anyhow, is it worth it to go to university in the United States compared to Czech Republic? Did your sister go to university in Czech Republic? Your older
My,
sister?
my sister like she went to an art school. And my parents like studied at like the biggest Czech school, I think. But like like yeah, those degrees like they can't even use them here for work. So I'd say like an American degree is probably gonna be taken more seriously worldwide, just if you say, and then like like possibly like universities like Oxford or like the British ones. But I think
Mm-hmm.
like like the I don't know, it's kind of messed up, but like yeah, people will take like degrees from like American universities. I feel like a lot more seriously here than they will like the European ones. I know like I don't know, one of my friends here, like her mom is a doctor and she's from Egypt. And she like studied at the university in Egypt. I don't know which one. But yeah, when she moved here she had to like redo the whole program just because they wouldn't acknowledge her degree. Kind of. So yeah.
That's sad. I recently saw a question, so there's no worries. Somebody asked me, it's like, will they recognize my Russian diploma in the United States? And I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, not really. Unless it's like a really big school.
But I also find it really weird that at least when my brother graduated, I saw that he didn't have like any grades in his diploma.
Mm-hmm.
It simply said like you finished Boston University. Like,
Interesting.
do they actually ask for a GPA ever?
Like in post work, like in post college world.
Yeah. Or does it matter, or is like does
Like
only
I mean,
degree matter?
it's just it's like a badge of honor or whatever if you have like a high GPA. The places that like GPA will matter the most is like if you want to go to post grad, or I mean grad and post grad.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like I mean, like a lot of time, like yeah, sure you can like if you have like a really high GPA, like from like a really high ranking university, then you can like put it on your resume just like as a flex. But other than that,
Hmm.
not really. I don't know.
What are you working for here? Just kidding. No, it's fine. We're working here for knowledge. We're here for knowledge, for studying. That's awesome. Opportunities. Yeah. Okay, so our beautiful person who asked many questions left. So at this point, I will ask you only the last question. What would be your advice to somebody who is moving to the United States from elsewhere?
Hmm. I'd say have some sort of a safety net. Have some sort of like possibly like I mean that's a hard ask, but like have some sort of a community here possibly already. Be sure that like you have like a way back home. Um, and and it also depends on like if you're like middle aged and want to move here with like kids and stuff, or like if you want to move here like as a young person. Um, as a young person, like definitely try to like get into a college, study, make something of yourself, and do it fast. Cause like I don't know, America, I feel like is the type of place like where you if you don't keep up, you get like drowned. You know? So yeah, basically that.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel not in America, but on social media, honestly. If you don't
Yeah,
keep up, you're just trolling.
yeah,
But maybe that's what, maybe it comes from America, and that's why we all feel this way. Just kidding. That's my theory. Because I just feel old around here.
mm.
Yeah, anyhow, can I come get married and stay in the United States? That's the whole mood. No, the guy they're like, they will run a check on like the couple for sure. I was talking to somebody, I was talking to Sasha and Nasa yesterday about that. I'm like, I was joking around, and the guy goes, if you pay me $15,000, we can get married. I'm like, I told them that story, and they go, you do know that they will run all kind of checks on you, including like checking the messages and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And
Mm-hmm.
then Isa told me that story that her mom, well, because like her dad is American, her mom is Russian,
Yeah,
and they have something like 5 kids in their family or something, and they all have like American citizenship, right? But
yeah,
then her mom couldn't get like green card or citizenship, I guess, right? That's what you got if you get married. For 6 years or something.
yep,
Even though like they generally like fell in love, they loved each other, but then somehow it took like so long for them to actually get it.
yeah. My parents like they like my dad is Czech. My mom has the American citizenship, but it's still, with like two kids and like three of them being Americans, it took my dad 5 years in order to be able to like get American citizenship and like live with us. Like he had to like for like several years it was just like he had to live there while we were here.
No,
Um
really?
yeah. And then that like yeah, it's like a very long process. Like yes, he can, like even with all the evidence, like literally they turned him down I think like once, and then he was just like they like literally took like 4 years just to like review the documents, and then another year to like make a decision whether he can like be here or not, or like whether he gets the citizenship or not.
You know what? I'm good with that American citizenship. I'm aiming for European now. I'm aiming for European now. So, oh, geez, I haven't realized it's that difficult. I mean, if you're like paying someone, okay, that
If
seems
you're
legit,
paying
but he
someone,
might not get a citizenship.
yeah. If you're rich, maybe it's faster.
But no, I meant like paying someone to marry you. That's what I mean.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I don't
it seems like it's a waste of money. So
know.
yeah, but it's okay. And on this beautiful note that you cannot get American citizenship, even if you really love the person, I think you'll end here. And thank you for coming, though. It was really nice seeing you and seeing your life and awake at 12 p.m. So that's
Thank you.
something.
It was actually really fun. So,
Really? Okay, see, okay, I'm glad it was fun for you. Okay, I'll see you around.
yes. All right.
Bye, and thank you everyone
Bye.
for joining.
Mhm.